program, you do have something on about this as well, don't you?
Say again. You were referring to.
So I can vocalize and do exercise. Well, when I say that, I could make a lot of noise and hit notes, possibly better in my exercise than I can when I'm actually singing.
Yes.
Or my voice can't last as long when I'm singing as I could probably vocalize. I could exercise all day, but I could only sing for a handful of songs.
Yep. Okay.
So that's yeah.
So it's that's not a question, but you're coming around to a question, which would be something along the lines of, and it's common for everybody. It's common for me too. All right. So when I'm singing when I'm not really singing, I'm training. When I'm training the vocalese, when I'm training the workouts, I can bridge the passaggio, get in the head voice. I can amplify vowels. I have a sense of freedom and movement that I know is correct, and therefore I can safely conclude, and my coach sort of verifies for me, that my execution of the techniques are good. Okay? However, it's so frustrating and puzzling that when I then transition to the song, the same notes, seemingly the same vowels, suddenly it sort of, that stability sort of unravels. It breaks up. I'm getting, squirrely problems, breaky problems, maybe a little bit constriction problems. Things happen when I transition to text, to lyrics in complex melodic patterns. That's what you're saying, correct?
Correct.
Right. So, why is that? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that happens. It's actually fairly obvious. So I thought this through. The reason there's a couple of reasons, but the main reason, sitting at about 30,000 feet, is that, with some exceptions, there are some exceptions, and in my training program, there are a couple workouts that have text in them. All right, but for the most part, when students and voice teachers do vocal training, vocalese, which is a fancy word for workout, as you know, they're amplifying only vowels.
Yeah.
You're amplifying an ah, an a, an You're really only amplifying vowels, which is not easy, and we train and we get good at that. But it's when you then chop those vowels up with breaths and consonants, especially the consonants that pop and click and sort of cut that legato. It kind of chops up that legato smoothness. Okay, is what happens is that creates disruption to the nice, gooey, silky vowel that just keeps going. Well, if you put a bunch of breathing and consonants inside there, and also, by the way, rapid movements of open vowels to closed vowels, open vowels to closed vowels. I went from an easy A to a really gnarly E in the lyrics. Well, as soon as you transition to songs, what I'm trying to say is it suddenly gets hard again, because it is more. It's a more difficult puzzle. It's a more difficult motor skill movement and strength level for the mechanism to hang on to when you introduce these additional elements that want to throw you off the easy ride of just gliding on open vowels. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So that's what's happening. Okay. Yeah. Now, but it's okay. But I see it as students think, oh man, I'm really killing it. I'm doing great on my open vowels and my workout. So I must be in the end zone. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to transition and sing a Journey song now. All right. And they choke and they crap out. You're not really in the end zone yet until you can sing the songs. Okay. So the training takes you about to the 20-yard line. It gets you about 80% there. In terms of strength and motor skills, it gets you about 80% there. And then you need to take the remaining 20% is introducing those elements, those difficult elements I discussed, and just building another level of motor skills and training and coordination around that. And then let's just call that another 4 to 8 weeks, and then you're in the end zone. It's not the impossible dream, but that's all it is. It's just another level of motor skills and strength building that has to happen.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's going on.
All right. And there was just one more thing too, if I may ask.
Sure.
The tongue seems to be annoying me a little bit as well. It's getting better after I've seen you and listened to you lecture with the tongue, and I've just sort of like, okay, just leave it there regardless what everything wants to do or restrictions that I feel, just leave there and get used to it. It is getting better though, strangely enough. So,
okay. Is there a question in that?
So I guess I'm sort of beating around the bush a little bit, but with the tongue itself, is it something that you would say, look, just leave it down, place it against your teeth or your lower teeth? But I did realise in your lecture there are certain different tongue techniques that I haven't read yet, which I'm going to go into, which I'm looking forward to. But there are some tongue placements that you do. There's 3 different placements, I believe, or 2.
That is correct.
Could you touch? Would it be too much to talk quickly about that now, or just to say, no, read that and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about?
No, I won't do that to you. We're connected. It's fine. It's all right. You're my student. You bought my product. It's okay. All right. And that's just, as I said, as I drink more coffee, I get less grumpy.
And the last thing I want to do is take up your important time.
Okay. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, there's a lecture in the program called The 3 Tongue Positions. I believe it's what it's called. Go watch it. All right. There's 3 tongue positions. One is I sort of silly. I don't remember the name of my own thing, but I know the 3 positions. But one is, I do. It's the open throat position. Where we're just going to lay it flat, maybe even nudge it forward and out just a touch on super high notes and on sort of high intensity belt singing sometimes for some people. I always think of one of my colleagues who's a good coach, a friend of mine, Ken Tamplin. He's a great singer. We've all seen him sing, and he sticks the tongue out. A little weird. In my opinion, I think not totally necessary, more than necessary. However, I have done that as well on certain moments in singing where it's pretty intense. Like it's a big B flat scream. I'm singing Alice in Chains or something. I will put my tongue out a little bit, and it tends to sort of open up the sound a little bit. Okay, that's one position. It has some value. The other 2 positions I think that even have more value and are more interesting, especially for belting in the head voice, is the other 2 positions. One is they're leveraging positions. They're tongue leveraging positions. Position number 1 is tip of the tongue against the back of the bottom teeth.
Right.
Okay. And we nudge. We lean against that. Don't give it hell. It's not that, and it's not lazy. It's just not too hot, not too cold. It's there, high, I'm there, and I'm supporting, okay? And when we do that, what that does, this is sort of the mechanism, the larynx positioning of things. When we do this, it creates sympathetic movement, sympathetic contractions that makes the larynx sort of sit down, okay, and anchor, which creates some warmer overtones in your sound color, and it assists in the ever important need to get the vocal folds to adduct. It helps the adductors to really squeeze hard, which they need to do when we're belting, and it increases the SPL, the sound pressure level. Okay, so it's a cool little technique. The tongue is a great athlete. It's this muscle that does so many things, and so we use it to sort of leverage and create a chain reaction to get some stability. Okay, now
that's very interesting.
Thank you. Yes, it is. And the 3rd position is a more intense version of what I just talked to you about, and it is a tongue leveraging position that takes the tip of the tongue and anchors it down below the roots of the bottom teeth. So I went from here, which is level 2, and I went from level 3, level 2. I went from here. Now, right. And then go ahead and dip your tongue and feel the roots of your bottom teeth. Just go down that little. It's like a little gap, a little canal there, right? And in the course, I actually have a name for that. I called my dentist and I literally asked him what they call that because I wanted to sound smart. And now I'm forgetting what it is. The something vestibule. Anyways, the something vestibule. Anyways, when you put the tongue there and you're belting on vowels, boom, it makes this sort of stability piece using the tongue to get sympathetic contractions, to get better compression and SPL levels and all that stuff in the head voice. It makes that even more gnarly. Okay?
Well, all right. That's really cool. Is there there's something I have to let go of in order to, is there something I have to persist in? Because maybe there's a lot of other things that I don't want to let go because the tongue does get in the way. But like I said, it's getting better. But is there a certain amount of time that I might have to say persist and then relax with it and then it'll sort of come about, if that makes any sense?
I'm sorry, come again, say again.
So if I persist with the tongue in those positions,
yes,
is it like repetition, which in the end, which will create the new feel? The repetition of keeping that tongue in those positions.
Of course. Everything that we're doing, everything about my program and what we're training is about repetition of exotic motor skills so that one day in the not too distant future, you have the motor skills, which are even better, and they're not exotic anymore. Yep. It's just subconscious movement. Yeah, just like learning. Look, it's just like learning to dance, or learning to ice skate, or learning to do a cartwheel. It's physical strength and motor skills. Vocal training is when it's done properly, and you have the right program. So, yeah.
Well, Robert, the other thing, if I may, was that because I was classically trained in my youth. And it actually, I was taught to sing in certain parts, spaces around the head. And I've thrown all that away and I'm now only focusing more on head and trying to direct sound through to the front of this area here, if you like. I don't know how much this is, but it seems to be working. I'm not finding as much power, maybe because those muscles are much weaker than what they used to be. But I don't focus on hitting vowels here anymore, the back of my head, etc. I focus more on the forward, the mouth, the nose, and placement around my eyes. When you snarl, is that what you're feeling, the muscles in your face coming up around your eyes? Is that part of the idea? This is what we used to do when I was classically trained. When we snarl, you feel this here pulling. Is that what you're aiming for when you talk like this, or not necessarily?
When I smile or when I snarl?
When you snarl, when you lift your teeth to show your teeth and pull back. Is that what you...
The snarl is part of tuning the formant, because the oral cavity is a resonating space that is one of the elements, not the only, but one of the elements in tuning the formant, or that's fancy talk for amplifying the proper resonance per the frequency and vowel. Okay, so you need to lift. Okay, you need to lift, especially on open vowels, and what it does sort of throws the resonance forward to the edging position against the back of the top teeth and the hard palate, and for CCM singers, for contemporary singers, guys like you and me, that's where it has to go, because we're belting. All right, there's a lot of belting going on, and when I say belting, I don't necessarily mean Bruce Dickinson sort of belting, but you can even be Neil Young belting. And it just means taking the chest voice through the passage, and you can belt light or bite and belt heavy, belt aggressive or belt pretty, whatever. But belting is belting. We have to take that energy and put it forward. Whereas for classical, and by the way, I studied classical too. We want to take that resonance. Seemingly, they some people are really good at it, but they take that resonance and want to sort of more send it back here, more cover it actually, and then play with the harmonics and tune sort of singing classical style formants, which are different than brighter contemporary formants. So, which is great. And you get up, and if you really do that and you dedicate a lifetime to it, it's absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? I mean, you can just have to be amazing. But it's an entirely different resonance and set of motor skills compared to CCM singing.
Yeah, because that's the last thing I want to do is sound like that anymore. I don't, and that created more of an operatic sound, and I don't want that.
I know.
And so I need to learn that new process of bringing this all forward into my head. And so all of this is like all new to me again. And so
we have to untrain the trained classical trained students have to be, unfortunately, have to build a new set of motor skills if they're going to sing contemporary.
Untrained.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say untrained. We don't want to. I'm not advocating a situation where, all right, Paul is now singing great contemporary belts, but can no longer sing a pretty aria. We don't want that, and it doesn't. You don't have to choose one or the other. Okay, but to be fair, it is challenging to juggle two entirely different motor skills. But it can be done, and you don't have to make a choice. However, I think we can both agree that as far as like getting a gig and having some fun and singing at the pub down on a Friday night, Saturday night, or just making a recording or actually getting paid, the forward contemporary position is just what do I want to say? I want to say it's where 90% of all singing needs to be, and the classical position is a niche. It's a niche genre. It's a niche thing. I'm just giving you my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but it's a niche thing, which means it's low in demand. The market demand for this is so low that, and it's sort of sad in my opinion, that people will spend a lifetime and a fortune training to get there and sound really beautiful. That's great, but who are they going to sing it to?
I agree. Because I don't want to sound like that.
You faculty at the university, and then after that, what? There's like, in any given year, don't quote me on this, but I've heard numbers, I forget what it is, but it's ridiculous. It's like something like, I'm making this up, but it probably wouldn't be far from the truth, which would be there's something like 20 professional opera singing jobs a year available, worldwide, available, where you're going to get six figures and make a decent living doing it, and versus anything else. So I'm in the weeds a little bit here, but my point is in support of the forward contemporary resonant position and what you and I are doing with this program. All right.
Oh, that's great. That's what I aim for and develop.
Yeah. Don't question it.
So,
don't doubt it for a second. What you did in the past was not a waste of time, by the way. There's a lot you learned there. There's a lot of skills there that you learned about vowels and resonance, and some of those motor skills will sort of like the body will go, oh, we used to put it here, boss, but now you want to go here. That's sort of weird. We're not used to that, but okay. And it's a week where somebody who's never sang before, it's 6 weeks. So all of that classical training will benefit you in some regards, and in other regards, like feeling the resonance and stuff, it'll be a bit wonky for you. But you're on the right path. You have the right program, and this stuff works, man. It just works, especially if you get in front of me. Okay.
I'm really going to enjoy it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go through what you sent me and click on the links, and then I will make a move to see how I'm going in a few weeks with it.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll have some clarity. And may I say also, just by listening only to a couple of your lectures and doing exactly what you said, I felt already, I already feel a change.
Yeah.
And so that made me very happy. There's a different thought, and it's changed me, hit my head against a brick wall. Yeah. And so that's exactly, and that's why I've just pulled even closer toward your teaching.
Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. You're talking to somebody that's literally been doing this, training and figuring out the puzzle on how to belt in the head voice and get that big, boomy, heroic sound and freedom that we all of us want. I've been doing it since I was 14 years old. Just literally this. All right. So that's why it's real. That's why it's there, and that's why there's a big book and a big multiple courses and stuff, because it's sort of one of the reasons why I'm here on the planet. So yeah, and I don't sell crap. I mean, for me it's always been about training, motor skills, and strength building. Not about seeing purple or seeing through your porpoise nose or any of that bullshit. It's about let's really train. You know, let's work out. It's about working out.
I think, yeah. Well, I think the other side of it too is why it resonates with these, because I was in the health industry for so long, and you talk about vocal athletes and about the musculature of the neck, and it's everything I talk about with my clients if I'm training or personal training, or sometimes I lecture with that sort of thing as well in college. And so I've never had anyone talk about the voice like you do, and so then I think, hey, this is what I talk about all the time, but I know nothing about this. The way you talk about adduction, all of this, it makes complete sense to me. So it sort of resonates so much with me. And that's why I'm very happy. And that's why I've got the course, and we'll take it from here.
All right.
Yeah.
And just real quick, what I want to get to. So down below, the first 30 and 90 days, you scroll down here. It's pretty self-explanatory, but it has these links in here, you see? These hyperlinks that take you into the course. And it's my way of saying to you guys, I would have spent more time on this, but you paid for the time, so we did some Q&A instead. That's fine. But just quickly, this is Robert saying to everybody to build the motor skills that you need, that you and I were talking about. This is the bare minimum. This is the foundation of understanding of the method and the techniques inside the method that give you that foundation that you need to train in the first 30 to 90 days. And then after these guys right here, okay? Right here. After all these guys, then explore. Go have fun on the blues workouts, go sing songs, go do other things. But your homework assignment, Paul, is boom, boom, do the blue links below first before anything else. Okay? That's sort of the benefit. And I really do hope that we can get in front of each other. That'd be great. The more lessons you buy, the more you save. Okay, there's like a like a deal. And with that, I've given you some overtime, but I don't mind because it's fun, and I'm not grumpy anymore. And I'm going to save your audio file here so you can listen back. And last but not least, we provide customer service here too.
I really appreciate your time today.
You're welcome. The best way you can appreciate my time is to train and have results. And then if you're happy with it, tell your friends, do a testimonial.
I will do. No, good on you.
Okay, brother. I look forward to seeing you again. I don't want this to be the last time, okay?
Thank you, mate. You have a lovely day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.